The moment someone blocks you, your brain goes into a kind of emergency mode. Your chest tightens, your thoughts race. You start checking every platform, replaying every conversation, trying to find the moment it all went wrong. And the urge to react, to say something, to do something, is almost unbearable. But here is what nobody tells you. That reaction, that desperate need to respond, is exactly what they were waiting for. Blocking is not just a digital action, it is a psychological one. And the person who understands that has all the power. Think about what blocking actually communicates. On the surface, it looks like rejection. It looks like the other person winning. But underneath it, there is almost always something far more interesting happening. People do not block those who mean nothing to them. Indifference does not require effort. You do not block a stranger. You block someone who still occupies space in your mind. Someone whose potential reaction you are already thinking about. That tells you everything. When someone blocks you, they are not erasing you. They are trying to control how much access you have to them, and more importantly, how much access they have to their own feelings about you. The block is a wall built by someone who is not as unbothered as they want to appear. And this is where silence becomes your most powerful response. There is a principle in psychology called reactance. It describes what happens when people feel like their freedom or control is being taken away. They immediately want what they cannot have. They push back. They reach. When someone blocks you and you react by calling from another number, messaging through a mutual friend, posting something obviously aimed at them, or begging for an explanation, you are doing exactly what reactance predicts. You are chasing, and chasing removes all your power in one move. But when you go silent, something completely different happens. The person who blocked you expected a reaction. They prepared for one emotionally. Some part of them wanted it, whether that was to feel validated, to feel pursued, or to feel like they still had influence over you. When that reaction never comes, their mind does not settle. It starts to ask questions that were never supposed to surface. Did they even care? Why have they not said anything? Are they already fine? That uncertainty is not comfortable for them. It is deeply unsettling. And it plants a seed of doubt that no amount of blocking can remove. Now here is what most people get wrong about silence. They think silence is passive. They think it means giving up. But real silence, after being blocked, is one of the most active and emotionally intelligent choices a person can make. It is not weakness. It is control. It is choosing not to let someone else determine your emotional state. And that distinction matters more than most people realize. There is a concept in relationship psychology called the locus of control. People who have an internal locus of control believe their responses and outcomes come from within themselves. People with an external locus of control believe they are constantly at the mercy of what others do to them. When you react desperately to being blocked, you are living in external control. You are saying, your action determines my next move. But when you stay silent, you are reclaiming your internal power. You are saying, I decide what I do next, not you. That shift is something the other person can feel, even from behind a block, and sometimes it changes everything. Here is where it gets even more revealing. Silence works not just on them, but on you. When you resist the urge to react, something psychological begins to shift internally. The emotional charge that was driving you starts to lose its intensity. This is not suppression. This is regulation. The brain, when it stops being fed by the frantic energy of chasing, begins to recalibrate. You start thinking more clearly. You start seeing the situation differently. And over time, you often realize that what you were about to do would have cost you far more than whatever you lost. People who have been blocked and reacted out of panic almost universally describe it the same way later. Embarrassment, regret, the feeling that they handed their dignity to someone who had already walked away. But people who stayed silent often describe something else entirely: clarity, self-respect, and sometimes a quiet return from the person who blocked them. That return is more common than anyone admits. Not always, and not guaranteed. But it happens precisely because silence does what nothing else can. It removes the certainty. And human beings are psychologically wired to want resolution. When the expected reaction never arrives, the mind goes searching for it, and the search leads back to you. But here is the deeper lesson underneath all of this. The reason silence is powerful is not really about them. It is about you. It is about understanding that your peace, your dignity, and your emotional stability are worth more than the temporary relief of venting, reacting, or proving something to someone who chose to remove you from their visible world. The moment you understand that, blocking loses most of its sting, because a block can only hurt you as much as you let it redefine you. And when you choose silence, you are telling yourself something far more important than anything you could ever say to them. You are telling yourself that you do not need their reaction to know your own value. That is not giving up. That is growing up. And that is the kind of quiet strength that people rarely see coming until it is already working. If this video made you think differently about how you respond to people who pull away, share it with someone who needs to hear it right now. And if you want to go deeper into the psychology of human behavior, attraction, and emotional power, subscribe to The Hidden Mind. New insights drop every week. The mind is always worth understanding.